Hey gang, Jason Slowinski here with you today. Has been a while since I've been able to check in with you, so I wanted to do that today. I'm not in mission control, but this microphone helps make the sound a little bit better, so I thought I'd put it on for the purposes of the video. A couple things I want to do. One, it's been a while since we've had a quarterly meeting with our employees, and normally what we would do is recognize both performance and years of service awards, which we haven't been able to do this year in person. So I want to do that, and then I also want to update you on a few things that have been going on in the city for your information. So this might be a little bit longer of a video than normal. I hope you can hang with me here as we get through this, but I do think it's important that we recognize our employees even though we're not meeting in person. So I'm going to start by going through our list of employees here who have celebrated service awards for the first half of the year. So this is anybody from the start of the year through June 30th who has celebrated an anniversary. And I'm going to try not to get any names wrong, but I can't promise that. So here we go. This is for all departments. And normally we'd have our department heads present these, but I will do it today in their stead. Folks who have celebrated 5 years of service awards the first half of the year are the following individuals. We have Courtney Gould in our Parks and Recreation Department, Diane Tiberi, who works with our communications staff, Jacob Lizakowski in the Police Department, James Black, one of our utility techs in Public Works, Jessica Simonson, in Public Works as well. Jonathan Priestley, fire inspector in our fire department. Kathleen Quintana, deputy fire marshal, also in the fire department. Kelly Manley in Parks and Recreation. Mark Lanke in Public Works. Monica Rule in Parks and Recreation. Kathleen Schwab in Public Works. Sal Ingenthron in Public Works. And Thomas Waisdenwright in Parks and Recreation. These are all of the employees who are celebrating 5 years of service with the city through the first half of the year. So congratulations to you all. Thanks for what you do, and HR will be in touch if they have not already on getting you your recognition gift. Those employees who are celebrating 10 years of service are the following. We have Doug Skiba in Parks and Recreation over at the museum, Julie Nelson in Parks and Recreation, Mark Dodge also at the museum in Parks and Recreation, Rochelle Castanuela in Parks and Recreation, and Matthew Carrasco in Parks and Recreation. So our Parks and Recreation have taken over our 10 years of service awards. And congratulations to all of you who have celebrated 10 years through the first half of the year. Okay, 15 years of service. Now we're getting into some real stuff here. 15 years of service, we have Deb Testro in the fire department, Alden Marsh over at the pro shop at Fossil Trace, and Brian Matsky in Public Works, the stormwater supervisor. Those three employees are celebrating 15 years of service with the City of Golden. Congratulations to the three of you, and thank you for what you do for the city. And now 20 years of service. 20 years of service. We have three employees who are celebrating 20 years of service. In the police department, we have Denise Hish, administrative coordinator. Denise, well done, 20 years. Marcus Williams, a sergeant in our police department. Marcus, congratulations to you as well. And Anna Traziak, in the fire department, and she's in the media services assistant there. Anna, congratulations to you as well for 20 years of service. That's fantastic, and again, HR will be in contact with you. We have a few employees, four here that are celebrating even longer anniversaries than 20 years. So let's get to those. To me, this is just honestly amazing, and I appreciate the effort and the service over the years to our community and to our city. So I want to congratulate these folks. First, we have for 30 years of service in our police department, Kathleen Klein, our police records specialist, who started on March 1st, 1990. And by the way, my kids always say, when I reference something that's somewhat of a vintage age, they'll say, "Dad, was that back in the 19-somethings?" So we're now talking about employees who have served since last century. Kathleen Klein, congratulations to you. Thank you for your 30 years of service to the city. Also celebrating 30 years of service, Jay Feeney in the cemetery, assistant cemetery manager who works out there in our Parks and Recreation Department, started on March 27th, 1990. Jay, congratulations to you as well, and thank you for all that you do for us. And then lastly, also celebrating 30 years of service is Joe King, our fleet manager, down at the shops, started April 2nd, 1990. Joe, congratulations to you as well on your 30 years with the City of Golden. Appreciate it. I would ask for a round of applause, but unfortunately, I'm the only one sitting here, so maybe I'll do that anyway. I appreciate the 30 years you've all put in dedication to our organization. Finally, we have one more service award that I'd like to present today, and that is for 35 years of service. 35 years of service. And this goes to someone I know that you all love and has just done an incredible job over the years for the City of Golden and making sure that the city is always looking good and always functioning well, and that goes to Steve Kurtz in our Public Works Department, our street superintendent. Steve started with the city on June 11th, 1985. That's fantastic. Steve, well done. Thank you very much for your years of service, your 35 years you've given to the City of Golden. We really appreciate that. And for the record, I was alive in 1985, although I know that there are many employees that work for the city who probably were not. So, Steve, congratulations. And to everyone else who's received a service award today in recognition, congratulations to you all as well. Big hand for Steve Kurtz and also to all of our employees. Okay, I'm going to move along. I'm going to keep it kind of quick so this video doesn't get boring and dull. I'm going to move on to, we have actually a COG award to recognize. No, I'm sorry. We have 2 Midas awards to recognize today. Employees who have received the award and have been nominated by fellow employees and reviewed by our recognition committee. So we have 2 of them. And I'd like to just briefly read from these 2, if I can. The first Midas Award, goes to Brenda McKee in our IT department. And here was part of the nomination that was submitted. Submitted, by the way, Tom Young of the Golden Fire Department, and also Anna in the Golden Fire Department. And here's the backstory to this one. So back in 2014, Tom Young was asked to improve government access television going from standard definition to high definition. And worked thereafter with Bob Pierce and others to try to research equipment and get that program implemented which would help for live streaming and archiving of our broadcast programs on our TV channel for really anybody around the world to view. So for over 5 years, Tom Young had worked with our IT staff on trying to come up with solutions, researched other programs in other cities and how they might have worked. And unfortunately, none of the suggestions or ideas that they've researched or came across seemed to be the right fit for Golden. And as Tom puts it in the nomination form here, that is until Brenda McKee was handed the project. So once the project was in her hands, things began to move quickly. And Brenda accomplished most of the streaming project with very little involvement on the part of Tom and Anna. She dedicated a lot of time making sure that everything was correct. In fact, one time when I called her, she was at home not feeling well, but still answered the phone and answered my question, in addition to correcting the problem. All of this while juggling her normal IT workload. Thanks to Brenda, we are close to completion of this project, which will positively contribute to the city of Golden on a worldwide basis. Brenda McKee definitely has the golden touch for every IT project she has worked on. For Anna and I, for her drive, going above and beyond her normal duties, she is recommended for this award and will receive this award. So my congratulations to Brenda McKee. Well done, and thank you for going above and beyond. And also thanks to Tom and Anna for the nomination. Congratulations, Brenda, and again, our HR folks will be in touch with you as well. All right, the second Midas Award that we have here today goes to Melissa Crocker, who is a GIS analyst in our Public Works Department. And this form, I'll read a bit of this nomination. Melissa, under her own initiative, wrote an article summarizing why she has chosen government service that reflects very positively on the city of Golden and reflects positively on why a career in government service is noble work that is important to our community and important to our citizens. This article can be found on the American Public Works Association website. I have a link here, and I'll actually make sure we post that on our intranet. So for those of you who actually want to read Melissa's article, you can do that. And by the way, I read the article a little bit earlier prior to this video, and it was a fantastic article. Melissa did a great job outlining why government service is important, what is attractive about it, the fact that we all support each other with little things that we do, and our communities are the ones that benefit for it. And it was a great article. You're going to need to, if you want to read it, go to the intranet, and we'll post the link there. But the article can be seen by 30,000 folks in the public works field around the United States and Canada as part of that APWA link. And the nomination suggests that she should be recognized for taking the time and initiative on her own to write this article, sending it to the American Public Works Association for considering having it published. So I want to offer my congratulations to Melissa Crocker for this Midas Award and representing the city so well, and also all of us in government service. And I think it goes to speak highly of all that we do as government employees in making sure that our community is strong and that those that depend on us for service can count on that service, that it's going to be delivered in a thoughtful and professional way. So that's evidence of that. And Melissa, thank you very much for your work on that. Okay, I have a couple of updates. Normally, as part of our quarterly meetings, we would do some updates on different things in the organization, and I want to just touch base on a few things. First of all, I want to give a shout out to two people that I think deserve a little bit of recognition. First, to Jim Hayek, who is our golf pro down at Fossil Trace Golf Course. For those who may not know, Jim Hayek was recently elected the president of the Colorado chapter of the PGA, the Professional Golf Association. And so my congratulations to Jim for that election. I will still call you Jim when I see you. I won't call you Mr. President, but for others, they may want to do that. I don't know. But I think it speaks very well of folks who take leadership roles in their profession and step up to do that. So congratulations to you, Jim. And then we have, I want to recognize Steve Glick. We haven't had a meeting, obviously, in person in a while, but you probably have heard this, and I may have mentioned it in the past, but I want to mention this again because I think it's really important. Steve Glick has selflessly devoted himself to our organization for 30 years as Director of Community and Economic Development. And my hat's off to Steve. It's a tough job, that leadership role in the organization, working with developers and others to move the city forward, but often doing it in ways that can create or at least get entangled with political controversy and community opposing community desires. Steve's done a fantastic job over the years in managing all that and has really been an important piece of our success as an organization. And furthermore, has served me well in his role as Director of Community and Economic Development during my time here at the city. I've often relied upon Steve for good advice and guidance on a lot of different issues, some going even beyond community and economic development. Steve would not want me to say this because he is a person who does not ask for, want, desire any type of recognition at all. I think all of you understand that and know that about Steve, but he is deserving of it. And that's why I want to tell him and recognize him and say congratulations to him on his recent retirement from his position as Director of Community and Economic Development for the City of Golden. Fortunately for us, he's not leaving the City of Golden, and he has transitioned into a new role, a part-time role in our organization, working for the city manager in the city manager's office as a special assistant. And Steve's going to assist us on all sorts of projects that we have going on right now and helping move those things forward. So this isn't an official retirement from the City of Golden, but it is a retirement worth recognition from his position as Director of Community and Economic Development. So Steve, congrats on that to you. Hats off to you on a job well done in that role. And I'm excited to work with you in this new role, and I know it'll give you more time to spend with your family and your grandkids. And then at some point down the road, we'll have to maybe do something a bit more, although I know you won't want to. Okay. Related to that, I also wanted to mention Rick Murby will take over the Community and Economic Development Director position on an acting basis until we can go through a recruitment process. I don't intend to start that, probably not before the end of the year, for sure. Given the current COVID-19 scenario, it's hard to conduct a recruitment in that type of environment. Last thing I want to mention is the city's budget and talk about that a little bit. We're seeing an increase in cases, obviously, lately related to coronavirus. And I was hoping that by this point in time, by the time we reached October, we would get through the bulk of COVID-19 worries, but it doesn't seem to be the case. And cases are ticking back up. I'm hoping that things can get under control in the next week or two here, because if they don't, I have a strong suspicion that Jeffco Public Health and perhaps the state public health department will move us back to additional restrictions, starting to close things back down again, limiting numbers, those types of things. And I really don't want to see that happen. I'd really like us to move beyond that and get to the other side of this. But that said, we've had to plan and budget for 2021. It's that time of year where we consider how we're going to provide service for the following year and how we can afford to provide service for the following year. And that's been the focus of the last month or two, for sure, from me. Last week and a half ago, I presented a recommended draft budget for 2021 to our city council. We also talked about that budget a bit last night at our meeting. And here's what we can expect to see in 2021. We're fortunate to have stable finances in the city of Golden. And I think that's credit to not only our excellent staff, our finance director, his team, in putting together a great strategy on keeping us in a good, sound financial position, but it's also credit to everyone who's taking this pandemic seriously and really scaled back on things and trying to be conservative in how we approach finance and budgeting and spending and all those things that impact where we stand. So I'm pleased to say that I believe we are in a strong position going right now and look to be going forward. We are losing revenue as a result of this pandemic. Obviously, with restaurants being at reduced capacity, some stores having to have closed in the past, all those things, we project that will be down 7% in revenues for the year, at the end of the year. Not great, but also not awful. I know there are places that are down significantly more than that. So all in all, I think we'll take it. We'll deal with it and we'll manage it. But what it means for going ahead in 2021 is that we need to continue to be conservative. My focus from the beginning of this pandemic has always been on we need to continue to provide services that our community relies on, but we also need to work very hard to make sure we keep this solid financial position we're in so that we don't have to force employees to take furlough days and ask them for money back. We don't have to lay people off. That has been the approach, and that continues to be part of my focus as we plan for the year ahead. So the budget you'll see for 2021 is really a status quo budget. There's not a lot of new programs. There's not a lot of new spending. In fact, most of our departments, just about all of our departments, have reduced spending as much as they can to make sure that we don't run into any issues going forward. That's good news. I know you all have wondered about and probably are thinking about what does it mean for employee compensation? What does it mean for our benefits? And that type of thing. And just a word on that. Our benefits are not going to radically change. We have a great health insurance program, and I think we're going to be fine on that front. Our compensation, here's my plan for that going forward for 2021. Because I don't know exactly where things are going to land. I don't know when we're going to have a vaccine. I don't know if there'll be some other kind of change going forward, either positive or negative, that impacts our local economy. I don't know if we'll go back into shutdown mode. I really don't have any indication of when things get better, if they do, or how they'll get worse if they do. And because of that, I want to make sure that we continue to be in a really solid financial position so that we don't run into a situation, as some other cities already have, of having to force furloughs and reduce their workforce. That has been a focus of mine, a laser focus of mine, not wanting to do. So my plan is that we will not have salary increases at the beginning of the year in January, as we normally would do for our employees. Rather, I'm going to wait till about mid-year, let's say July, and I'm going to reevaluate where we are at July. And if the circumstance has changed, and quite honestly, I would assume that it will by then, that things will get better by then. Maybe there'll be a vaccine, maybe there'll be herd immunity, maybe there'll be other positive developments, and our local economy isn't hit any further, where we are seeing a strong rebound and good revenue numbers. Then I'd like our employees at that point in time to share in that success, and we'll extend some type of bonus program for our employees to reward them for all the work that they've done during the past year. It's been a tremendous year. You've all put in so much effort and thought and hard work during this pandemic. It's been tough for everybody, I know, and I really appreciate everything you've done. But I also want to make sure that we are managing things appropriately so that we don't find ourselves in a position where we need to lay people off or force furloughs, as I've said. To me, it makes no sense to extend salary increases at the beginning of the year to only have to then later lay people off. My goal is to protect all of your jobs and not be in that situation. So this is similar for those of you who have been in the organization a long time. You may recall that back in 2008 and 2009, the city took a similar approach. I fully expect that we're going to get back on course very soon. And if we do, you all will share in that success. We're going to get you back up to where you should be, and we'll put forth a program that will reward you for all of your hard work. But again, I think given the scenario, we need to make sure that we're continuing to monitor and manage our finances appropriately so we don't get into a tough spot. You're all going to read about what other cities out there are doing. Some may extend increases to employees, others aren't. I've talked to all of my colleagues about some of their plans. So I know there's some on either side. I also know that there's cities that are laying people off and have taken that approach to help make up for some lost revenue. I feel I need to do what's right for Golden and for all of you, and that is to continue to obviously provide the service we do, but do my best to protect jobs of our employees. So I don't expect that all of you will appreciate that decision or like that decision, but I hope that by me explaining it a bit, that you understand it. And it's really motivated not by anything but making sure that we keep our workforce intact during the course of this pandemic, and having all the uncertainty that there is surrounding it in the next year ahead. So we'll revisit things when we get to about mid-year of 2021. And at that point in time, if we are on track for revenues or we're performing better than revenues, we will extend some kind of bonus program to our employees at that point. The only way I wouldn't consider doing that is if the pandemic somehow got much worse and our local economy was somehow shut down and our stores weren't open and our businesses weren't operating and we were losing even more revenue than we already have. Then we'll probably have to reconsider that approach. But I really don't anticipate that happening. And if it does, we'll certainly have a conversation amongst our management team folks about it, and you'll hear from me again so you know exactly where we're at and what I'm thinking about it as we get to that point. So I appreciate your understanding. I appreciate your support as we go forward. I really do miss all of you. I really do miss seeing your faces, and I just know that all the work you've put in has kept this community on solid footing, and I can't tell you how much I thank you for that. I know our city council does as well. I've shared with them a lot of our successes over the last couple of months, things that we've done well at. They know the work that you've all done. They know the success you've all had, and they also last night voted to hold on their salary increases to be in alignment and in support of our employees. So they will not see an increase either at the beginning of the year. Again, thank you. I appreciate all that you've done. I hope that you stay safe and that your families are safe, and that I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we'll get to the other side of this pandemic sooner rather than later. And if we do, I want you all to share in that success as well. So hope you have a great weekend, and thanks for all you do. And I'll touch base again soon. Bye for now.